Hi everyone and welcome. This is episode 104 of the Sprue. In this video we'll be constructing a diorama base for the hobby boss Jackal. Guys, you'll recall that in the previous video we painted and detailed a commander figure for the hobby boss Jackal. Now in this video I'm jumping ahead quite a bit. I'm going to construct a diorama base, and this will be done according to reference pictures provided by a good friend of mine. But before we get to all that, a message from the sponsor.
I'm Lindy Swart. I'm the owner of Supernova Studio. We are an online store on the Bluff in Durban, South Africa. We sell hobby, arts and crafts products. It's really important to hobby and keep a craft because it helps with your mental health. It really does. A lot of the time we're working in the corporate world, we don't have time to de-stress and to be able to just relax. Hobbying and crafting and doing arts helps a lot in the mental field. It's proven that that is true. We are here for the arts, crafts and hobbyists, yes. We've got a beautiful online store. It's really easy to navigate. If you go onto supernovastudio.durban, you'll find us online.
Very wise words indeed. Guys, you remember that in video 77 I did some diorama planning, and my good friend Braille Scale provided some reference images from his tours in Afghanistan with the US infantry unit. Now these will be the basis of constructing this diorama base. Guys, do follow Braille Scale here on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel himself, and honestly I've learned quite a lot from his videos. So do give him a follow. Now, you remember way back in video 77 I looked at different sizes of diorama bases. You'll remember that I like these MDF trays, and at that point I decided on a smaller one, more of a rectangular one. However, I've changed my mind, because what's the use of having a mind if you can't change it? So I've now decided to go with a square, a larger MDF tray. For the simple reason that I want to include a few more items in this diorama. And as you can see there, leaving some space at the sides for some additional items. Now guys, this is brand new from Vallejo, their landscape textures, and this is the reason why I'm jumping ahead in the build. This is such useful diorama construction items for any modeler. Comes in different varieties, different sizes of gravel and stones. Launched last year. And as you can see, quite a range of different colors, different size textures. And guys, this is fantastic. If you perhaps live in a flat, in an urban environment, you don't have a garden, this is the ticket for you. So no more digging up the garden if you have one, because Vallejo did all the work for you. You can see they're graded according to size and texture. The most important thing, guys, is to get the terrain fixer. This is the adhesive that you'll use to glue these textures to your base. I'll also be using these acrylic pastes from AK Interactive, this one being asphalt for the road surface, some dry ground for the sections by the side of the road, and then finally for a little sandy patch, some sandy desert. So this will be the basic construction materials that I'll be using for this diorama base. Now guys, if you've been following my build, you know that I like to use this high density foam from an old hiking mattress for the basically for the base material. Now, I'm a creature of habit, and this has worked well for me for many years. So this is the base material that I'll be using to construct this diorama base on. There's the cut piece of foam. It fits very snugly inside this MDF tray, and requires no adhesive at all. So that's the base material. Guys, now if you've been following my builds, you know that I like to plan things on paper. It just makes it easier and there are less mistakes. If I look at the reference pictures, there's quite a few things that I'd like to recreate. You can see there raised road surface, quite steep sides, embankments at the side of the road. Also this undulating terrain, little Afghan shepherd there with his sheep, his flock of sheep, something I'd like to incorporate as well. And this very sparse vegetation. You can see that's a good picture as well, showing that little stream bed there. Definitely something I'd like to incorporate. Rocky terrain. So first I start off with placing the Jackal, more or less where I think this will work. I think the road surface will run over here, something like this. Guys, again, this is not set in stone. This is just to help me to get my head around this this construction of the base. So we've got the raised road surface. There will be a lower section down here. Let's call it a ditch, if you wish. And then this is the road. Just remember to spell road correctly. So that's the basic idea. And I like to put things at an angle. It looks more dynamic. It's better to do this stuff on paper first, rather than to start building things and then find out later that they don't work at all. So there's some potholes. Okay, so on to the construction itself. This is some 30mm foam from Green Stuff World, and I'll be using this to construct the raised road surface from. I really like this specific product. It's so useful, and so that will be the raised road surface at the top of the diorama. The Jackal will go there, and then the lower section will be on that foam. Of course, I'd like to use as much of this block of foam as I can. So I carefully measured and cut these sections, and there we go. That will be the raised road surface. You can see there I used that block of foam to the maximum, not wasting anything. The great thing about these foams is that they can of course be sanded down, and you'll be making a huge mess of your bench, so do make sure to clean up afterwards. So here you can see I've started cutting the basic shape, and a foam cutter like the one I have there is very useful to do this, guys. So if you have one of these foam cutters, they come in different varieties, very much useful for this application. So there we go. That's the raised road surface with the steep banks. Little leftover piece will go in the corner there, just to create some visual interest. And guys, I think this is the way to go. This is the basic terrain, if you wish. And all I need to do now is just to add some further detail. For instance, some road damage, using my my Dremel tool, just to add that. Also the edges of the asphalt, using the cutting tool to create that separation there between the embankment and the tarmac. And you can also see there that I hollowed out the foam base for that little stream bed that I'll be adding later. So this is the basic contours done. So I'll be using these two products first, asphalt and dry ground. Both are acrylic pastes from AK Interactive. You can see that I've used this on a previous build. Dry ground, very easy to use. Guys, this is very much like spreading peanut butter on a piece of bread. So I start with just applying the basic paste to that foam, and then using a damp brush, just smooth this out. And this is quite important, because once this stuff dries, it will retain the shape in which it was applied to that foam. So make sure that you get this as smooth as possible. So there you go. That is the basic dry ground, the dirt portion of the diorama. Now there's a little raised section here, and that I want to create into a sand bank. And for this, I'll be using Sandy Desert from AK Interactive. Again, acrylic paste, and this is just applied with my damp brush to that sandy portion of that little stream bed. With this done, I can now move on to the asphalt, and this is also applied to the diorama base with my brush. So guys, there we go. That is the basic textures, the base colors are done. and I can move on to some further detailing. Now for the lowest section of this dried up stream bed, I thought that some crackle effect would look fantastic. This is from AK, and you usually see this in nature in dried up stream beds and river beds, some cracked earth. So this product is applied to the lowest section of that little stream bed there. Applied quite thick, guys, because that will maximize the cracking. I left this to dry overnight, and lo and behold, the next morning this is the result, exactly what I wanted. And that will work nicely with the rest of our diorama. Of course, the colors are different, but we'll sort that out a bit later. Now guys, next up the textures from Vallejo. You can see all these stones, the rocky texture of the ground in the reference pictures. And for this I'll be starting off with two sizes of arid yellow gravel stones from Vallejo. You can see there, nicely graded according to size. Vallejo already did all the work for us. Of course, use the terrain fixer. That's the glue that you'll use to glue all these textures to your diorama base. I'm applying this with a pipette, as the instructions on the bottle says. And of course, this is a fluid. And once applied, you can simply place the texture, the gravel and the stones, where you wish to have them on the diorama base. You can see there I applied this straight from the bottle, just dropping these little fragments of gravel and stone where I need them on the diorama base. A little bit more underneath that overhang there. Guys, and there we go. That is the rocky stream bed. And I paid particular attention to where stones and gravel would roll downhill, and that is the result. The next step is some color, and I'll be using these 4 colors from Vallejo. They are airbrushed onto the diorama base. And guys, really the aim here is just to blend these different elements, the texture as well as the foams, blend them together as uniformly as possible. So no real plan here, just using the different airbrush colors to blend these as closely as possible, adding some shadow areas with the darker colors. And as I said, no real recipe here, just continue adding color until you arrive at a result that looks realistic. You can see there the crackle effect nicely blended with the surrounding terrain. So very happy with that, and I can move on to the next step. Now at this stage, my friend Braille Scale checked in and reminded me that the ring road around Afghanistan has a very thick surface, and that the surface is also very badly rutted. And this is something I'll have to incorporate into my my diorama base. Now I wasn't sure how to do this, so I rather checked this first on a piece of leftover foam, applied the asphalt texture, and then I also wanted to incorporate the cracking with this product from AK. And my initial plan was just to color this with some paint, some black paint from Vallejo. And I made a discovery here, guys, that adding anything to the crackle effect will in fact take away its ability to do the cracking. You can see there I added some rutting with a wooden dowel, applied my my colored crackle effect, and you can see that this was unsuccessful. So when you use this product, do not try to add anything to it. It will take away the ability of the product to crack as advertised. So rather apply the color afterwards to the crackle effect. To create the rutting, I used this wooden dowel I found in the garage. I think we used this to stir paint earlier in the year, and this will be used to make those ruts in the asphalt surface. So this is pressed down onto the foam. Fortunately, it is foam, so it will retain shape. And just use some force there and press this down onto the foam surface. You can see there's my rutting. Very brute force way of doing this, but it worked perfectly. So with the rutting in place, I can start adding some texture, again using the fixative from Vallejo. And next I added some fine grade granite gravel from Vallejo. You can see they're right next to the road. There's some of that texture visible there, something I'm recreating with the Vallejo product. The nice thing about the Vallejo fixative, guys, is that it dries completely matte. I've used similar products in the past, and I've always had to add some matte varnish. It's not necessary with this one from Vallejo. Quite a nice feature indeed. So there we go, that's all the texture added to the road surface, and I can now do some further detailing. For this, I'd like to add some cracking. So again, using the crackle medium from AK, applying them inside the ruts, also on the edges where I see some road damage. And after this is dried overnight, I can see the result, exactly what I wanted. So there you go, the damaged road surface where the rutting occurred, and all I need to do now is to blend all this in with some NATO black to get that asphalt color back nice and uniform. So there we go, that's the basic coloring done, progressing nicely, and certainly the result that I was looking for. Loving that cracking on the asphalt surface. To add some definition, I use different grays at this point. For the bottom section of the ruts, I used a dark gray, where there would have been more tire traffic, where the asphalt is more compressed. So there we go, that's the lower portions colored. And next, some tire residue. A used road like this will have a lot of rubber residue on it, and this is applied with the airbrush to the bottom of those ruts. Guys, this color from Vallejo Smoke has always been one of my favorites. Such a useful color. Goes straight into your airbrush, and it just adds that sort of a dirty, grimy look to any sort of an asphalt surface or inside of an engine bay. The next step is some dry brushing, and for this I used neutral gray and a medium-sized dry brush from Vallejo. And I now dry brush all the edges of this badly damaged asphalt surface, as well as the cracks there. This will nicely bring out those asphalt cracks, just to make them nice and visible. Also working this color into the edge of the asphalt there, brings out the coarse detail very nicely. You can see there's the result. I'm certainly happy with this, and we're slowly progressing in building our very worn piece of ring road from Afghanistan. Now guys, there's some blending to be done here. You can see there. So I'd like to blend the earth color into the tarmac color a bit more. I'm using my airbrush there just to add that color and just to add the blending there. Of course, the airbrush I'm using is very fine airbrush from Harder and Steenbeck. At a later stage, I'll be giving a review of that. Adding some loose gravel to the pothole section there. And again, my friend Chris mentioned that the road surface the Soviets constructed was so thick that potholes only showed more road surface and not dirt underneath. Now time to add some more definition if you wish, and for this I'm using two filter colors from Mick Productions, this being for desert environments. And guys, this is something I've used in the past. As you know by now, I love these products, and they apply directly to the diorama base. And the purpose of this is to bring out all the recessed detail. This is basically a wash that I'm applying to the road surface. Next up, vegetation. You can see all these spaced little green bushes and grasses. For this, I'll be using a new product from Green Stuff World. And guys, these are super realistic, thorny scrub. As you can see, there are two colors. And this is really fantastic, guys. This is exactly the sort of thing you'll find in a dry, arid sort of environment. And I'm using Tuft glue from Green Stuff World just to glue these in place. Don't rely on the little bit of adhesive at the bottom of those tufts. You'll need something with more adhesive power. So these are put in place on the diorama base, and they certainly add a lot of very fine extra detail to our diorama base. Also using the green variety, and I'm keeping in mind where water runoff will occur. So at the bottom of that raised road section, water will accumulate, however little, and that's where we'll find the greener vegetation. Also applying some tufts to the raised terrain section at the opposite end of the road. For some biodiversity, if you wish, these dry wild tufts from Vallejo. So a little bit of a different texture, different variety. Guys, and for instance, here I don't like the transition between the asphalt and the dirt. So this makes the transition a bit better. So there we go. The vegetation has been added, very sparse, arid sort of mountainous vegetation, and certainly adding a lot of detail to our diorama base. Next, I'll need some pigment, and you'll recall that this one, European Earth from Amomeg, is the same that I used when I detailed the Jackal's wheels and wheel wells. Disregard the name, it's only the color that we're after. And you can see there it's very sort of a dry, tan sort of a color, and it's perfectly suited to complement the base colors of the airbrushed color that we used already on this diorama base. So this is just applied with a brush to the base. It gives that nice sort of a dusty look to the base. And guys, some road signs. You'll remember from video 77 I covered this as well. This is from Mini Art, and I certainly like this. There are two paper sheets, one with decals, one with just ordinary paper. And my friend Braille Scale helped me to select the one most accurate for this section of Afghanistan. Of course, that Kandahar Kabul sign. The styrene parts are beautifully detailed, no flaws in these whatsoever. And guys, I can highly recommend these road signs from Mini Art. Certainly a unique product, and great for diorama building. So that's the basics of our road sign. You can see there the two posts, as well as the flat metal section. And the start of any paint job, of course, is a good primer coat. This is applied, Mr. Hobby. Next, I'm using dark aluminium from Alclad. Now, sadly, guys, Alclad's no longer available in South Africa, so I'll be switching to another brand soon, but more on that a bit later. This, of course, is a decal, so I'm using Micro Set and Micro Sol from Micro Scale, and this will help to fix that decal in place. I had a little bit of a moment here, fortunately nothing serious, and I was able to apply that decal to the signpost without issues. Some really high quality decals included in these road sign sets from Mini Art. So Micro Sol did a great job of just smoothing out that decal. Guys, so there we go, nice and pristine. Of course, this will not look realistic in our diorama, so some weathering, some detailing is required. Now guys, I wanted to bend the sign a bit, and really this is something I should have done before I applied the decal. So when you do yours, remember to do this first before applying the paint and the decal. Fortunately, I was able to do this without damaging the decal. So there's some damage to the road sign, something we see here in South Africa also. And one of the posts gets some damage as well, just a little bend there. And to protect all the paint and the decal itself, I applied a coat of Micro Scale Micro Flat, which also serves to harden this signpost. So guys, this is a collection of weathering products that I used next, all of them available from Supernova Studio. First, a dark wash just along the edges on the back of that sign, bringing out that detail. You can see there, worked very well. The back of the sign as well as on the posts. So there we go. Next, I used some rust wash. Some rust will accumulate at the bottom of that sign where water runoff will occur. So this is applied with a brush. Of course, this is an acrylic wash, being from Vallejo. And the next step is a few rust spots. And for this I use two colors from Vallejo's Panzer Aces range, light rust and dark rust. And this is applied with a sponge just along the edge and a few spots in the middle of that sign. And you can see they're very effective in just adding some wear and tear to the side of that root sign. Once the dark color is on, I use some of the lighter rust, more of an orangey sort of a color, and this now just complements the darker rust. So I wanted this root sign to be quite worn to fit the sort of arid, desolate look of the rest of the diorama base. You can see there, definitely working for the front of that sign. Very happy with this. Next I use one of my AK paint markers, this one being dark aluminium, and just giving that sort of a metal shine to the edge of that signpost. Guys, this is also very effective for just creating some damage, some metal on the bend there, the bottom section of that signpost where I inserted the bend. So very useful item indeed, these paint markers. I'm happy with this at this stage, and it's time to move to the back. And here I'll be using some oils from Uptailing 502. This one being faded dark yellow for rust, for dirt, some burnt umber, and light mud. So those are the three oil colors that I used. For best results, use Uptailing's own odorless thinner. You've seen me do this before. I'm thinking of the Abrams engine bay, a few other builds. Apply little spots of oil paint, different colors, the rust color, also the darker color, just different spots there. And we'll be using a little bit of odorless thinner and a broad brush, and using downward strokes now just to start spreading that oil paint downwards. And if you keep going with this for a while, you'll be creating a very realistic worn look on the back of that root sign. Guys, nothing in this world blends like oil painting. It's such a useful tool to use in your scale modeling. So there we go, that's the completed road sign. That's the back section, and this is now ready to go into the diorama. One of the last things to do is just to tidy up the sides where I cut that foam, and these little pieces of black foam glued to the side will just tidy that up nicely. Guys, and there's the result. This is our completed diorama base. I might add some few finishing touches once the Jackal and the figures are added, but I'm certainly happy with this. And I think we've successfully recreated a little piece of Afghanistan's ring road for our Jackal diorama. Guys, this is it then for video 104. Thank you for joining me. Of course, this build is not done yet. There are still a few figures left to do, some final detailing. And you can follow my progress on Instagram. I post all my my build updates there, so do join me on Instagram. Thank you for watching.